it's all good. I would say that for anybody new who hasn't already developed their website or their menu or whatever, and they're literally just starting out, obviously the best thing to do in any case, no matter what you're doing, is research.
Welcome to the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast, where passion meets profit. If you've ever dreamed of turning your love for charcuterie, or food of any kind, into a thriving online business, well then you're in the right place. We're Andrea and Patty, the Grazing Biz Sisters. With over 60 years combined experience as a chef and digital marketer, we have walked in your shoes starting our own online businesses. We'll share all of our tips, advice, struggles, and best strategies to help you launch and grow your own online foodie business with ease. The Charcuterie Launch Lab is a space for all food creators and entrepreneurs just like you. Let's dive in and get your yummy business launched online, one board at a time. Hey, welcome to the Charcuterie, right? Not charcuterie, Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast. We're glad you're back. We are here for our second podcast. Yay, we made it through our first one and got it live. It was pretty cool. We got it live on Spotify. We got it live on Amazon. We got it live on Apple. So not too bad for a couple of old ladies.
Yeah, even though we don't, we're stumbling through it. It's somehow making it work.
Yeah, I think our biggest problem now is trying to work our schedules. But anyway, we're doing all right. So we were chatting about what we want to talk about today. And I think because so much of our focus is really to help our listeners to get their business online, that's kind of what we thought we'd talk about today, how both you and I got started online. And, what did it take for us to do? What platforms did we start on? And then we can talk about what might be good platforms for our charcuterie friends to start their business on. If they haven't already got their business online, they don't have a website, they haven't done any social, they're not doing anything. So my experience personally is my whole business started online when I got my real estate license because I was working all these leads.
That's how you do it, right?
Yeah,
right.
Company was giving me leads. So I had to learn how to use software, which is contact relationship management software, a CRM, to communicate with these leads. And if I didn't log in and try to touch these people every day, because they had a platform, the CRM, it was a proprietary platform they had. If I didn't log in every single day and touch these clients or these contacts, they were leads that were coming in off of places that they were paying for. And if I didn't get in there, they would take our leads away. I mean, that stunk. And so I had to figure out a way to automate all that. So I set up automations within this system. Now, this was in 2001-ish, 2002. I think before everybody really knew what a CRM was. So, but they had their own website. So I was getting leads from them. And I didn't have a website to get those leads. They were just doing it and giving them to us. And then, of course, in exchange, I had to give them 65% of my commissions, which was not fun. But I sure the heck learned how to work those leads. So that's basically where I got started online. When was the first time you got online? What did you do?
First time ever?
Yeah, what did you put out there? Let's not count social because we're all on social, but
Okay. Well, so I can't even remember, honestly. I mean, I never really I was never a salesperson before owning my own business and stuff. So I never had to really worry about it. I worked for, high-end resorts and ski resorts and golf clubs and all of that jazz. So everything was sort of funneled down from whoever. I don't even know who it was, honestly. So everything would funnel down into my email. And then I would follow up from there. But I don't.
When you started, but you went online selling products. So what was the first platform?
And so I only started doing that like 3 years ago or whatever. I was doing, before that, working for you a little bit, doing the CRM thing, which I had to look up CRM, however long that was when the, 2020.
What does it mean? Right.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I had no idea. I'd never heard of it. I mean, I guess I did hear of it, but I didn't know there was like an acronym for it, So
yeah.
Anyways, that's kind of where it all started. And then since then, I've been using various different platforms to try and make everything work. And
so your platform, your main platform
what I would call the most proficient. That's your job, not
Right,
mine.
right,
I mean,
right,
I'm still trying to learn it and still trying to follow through. I don't think it ever stops,
right,
especially as a creative person, what, would be called a creative. So
right.
I don't have that background, which
Right.
is
No, right, exactly. So but what my question is what was the first platform that you went to when to sell things? Like where were you? I think you were on Etsy, weren't you? Before you
the
even
very
set up your
first one.
Shopify store.
Yeah, I set up Etsy and then I didn't use it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
what were you selling on Etsy at that time?
and what was I selling?
That's what I said. The other day I asked you
God, I
that,
can't even
and
remember. I think I just threw my
you sold
earrings
those
up
little
because like what I
books.
had on. I
You sold those little children's recipe book.
I did do that, and those are still on there, and those are actually on Amazon too. But those were not the first products. I think the first ones were probably the earrings. I think I started with the earrings and the bookmarks, and
Okay,
I do
so
all food inspired stuff.
what,
So
if you could go back and think about your struggles with getting online, what would have been your biggest struggle when if you can remember when you were in there? First, you didn't know what a CRM was, but that's okay because that's kind of
yeah, and I was,
but yeah,
I'm not using that
yeah,
anyways. But my
is,
biggest struggle
yeah,
was just learning the ins and outs of taking pictures and doing the description. Now everybody's got AI. I mean, you can make it so much more simple by just plugging it into any of these AI, softwares that you've got, and it'll shoot out your description with the keywords and everything.
yeah, right.
Whereas me writing that, like I was like, huh, having to just look everything up and try to figure out the best way to get in front
To
of
sell it,
people.
right? Because
Yeah,
there's
it's kind of
tagging. So the reason that's a concern is because people are going to be running searches for what it is you're selling. So you want to make sure, right, that you're putting in keywords, basically words that people would search for, right? So if they were looking for, earrings with food or shrimp earrings, for instance, we laugh
yeah.
about that. You're going to hear about the shrimp earrings quite often. We ought to pull a pair out and put up. You need to give me a pair. I'll start
I
wearing them.
actually sold some a couple of days ago,
She's
but
got earrings she sells that have shrimp on them. But your struggles partly is like what platform. I think that first thing is, okay, I want to sell something. And you go out and you start running a search online to see, what kind of what kind of software is out there that you can actually put your stuff on. That's going to make
Mhm,
sense. And then there's that, oh, now how are people going to find me? So that's
mhm.
why I think Etsy is kind of interesting. And, because it's kind of got its own search engine built into it.
It
Similar to
does.
like Amazon, I guess, right? So,
Oh, yeah, it does. However, I'm not going to say it's oversaturated, but you have to niche down to the nitty gritty
right,
to get in front of the people that you need to get in front of.
right.
And it's crazy because there's a million people. And unfortunately, there's a lot of resellers on there. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Even
the
though
people
it's
are
not
not
supposed to
actually
be.
crafting their stuff. They're just buying it from Temu and throwing
Is
it
there
out there.
food on Etsy?
There is, and I have sold soups on there. Now, when you check with the FDA, and here in Arizona, the laws are you're not supposed to sell outside of Arizona because your license is within Arizona.
Yeah.
So you're not, unless you're doing a commercial kitchen, you're not supposed to sell to the masses outside of it. Now, I
Hmm.
sell a lot of stuff on Etsy and Shopify and the websites that I've got going. And
Locally.
a lot of that stuff just, I am selling locally, but most of my sales are coming from markets and shaking hands and kissing babies.
With regard to your prepackaged stuff, right? Not your
Yeah, yeah.
charcuterie
I don't,
boards. That's
I don't
different.
push any, yeah, in the charcuterie boards, I have the,
The
signage,
website.
yeah, with the website and everything
Yeah.
on when I do a craft fair, which I'm not doing as much of. Right now I'm
Yeah.
doing it because of Christmas, but I don't do that year round because it's
Right.
taxing and, you know, you don't always get your money back and it's a lot of extra work. But this time of year, it's good.
Right.
So balancing the charcuterie boards with everything else and squeezing everything in, you really have to, stay on top of it.
Well, it
And the
depends
best
on,
way to
yeah,
do that is with a CRM because you have to have that calendar rolling and in front of you all the
Mhm.
time.
Right. Well, and if you had a platform, and of course, guess where I'm leading with this. If you had a platform that you could actually open the door and walk in and have all the templates and everything, because I'm listening to you talk about your images, that's bad enough. The fact that, in fact, I'm in the middle of recording the course. And one of the things I brought up was, and you told me to do this, is the images. Like, so if
Mhm.
you're brand new to this and you're trying to get your website up, and you got to get images on there, but you don't want to go out and spend the money to build these boards just to take photographs of them.
Mhm.
It's the first time you've ever done it, and you just didn't take pictures all this time. I would guess a lot of our listeners have already done a lot of these boards and that they've already taken photos. So that's great because you can obviously use those photos that you've taken if they're decent looking for your site. But it's funny to me that you said the hardest thing was getting your descriptions and the images done, because that is so important, right? They're going to the website and that's what they're expecting to see. But what I was talking about was if you didn't have images, that you could at least you could use some, I guess, pre-built images from like Canva and just zero in on them. They're available to use it so that you're not actually showing the board itself, but just the ingredients for right now, just zero in on it,
Mhm.
right? So, but with that being said, you've got the photos. Now, what about designing? Like, I know you were on Shopify, right? You went on Shopify. You still have a Shopify site out there in addition to the one you have with the charcuterie business. But the just designing that, like, how hard was that to go to Shopify and try to get that set
Yeah,
up and figure out what you were doing over there?
yeah, I never did that before,
Yeah.
ever.
Who does? I
And
mean, rarely. People, if you're in the food industry,
yeah, I remember the days, way back in the day when I was working for a grocery store consulting firm, like in the 90s when I first even learned how to be on the internet, and we were working off of like a 9-inch screen or something, 10-inch
oh my
Apple screen.
gosh, you're really telling your
And
age
that
now.
was brutal. It was brutal.
When you were
And
at the grocery store, yeah, you were working with the grocery
I was,
store.
yeah,
Yeah,
overseas. I was
yeah,
working off of this Apple and trying to just, do 3D rendering and all that kind of nutty stuff on that little teeny screen. Anyway, where was I going with that? Just learning it's just like anything else.
right,
You have to take your time. You got to learn it. You got to do it right. I mean, you
right.
can't
You don't
throw it
want to put
aside.
something out there that's going to look,
It, it,
cheesy.
it's not, it does. I know exactly. You don't want
Well,
to like,
maybe in our case, we
I go
want it to
back
be
and look
cheesy.
at Yeah, I go back and look at the photos that I took like 2, 3 years ago, and I go, oh, and now Etsy literally will tell you Shopify doesn't do it, but Etsy does it because your photos suck,
Oh,
basically.
yeah,
They don't say it like that, but they say it like
right.
you improve on
You
your
want to do
photo
something better.
quality or something.
Yeah, right.
And I look at those photos, those are products that I might not sell. Like I pulled a lot of the earrings off because I was making so many different kinds of earrings. There was no way to narrow down which ones to put online and which ones not. So therefore, a lot of the earrings just get sold in person at markets when I do them. And because that was just too much, I could have thousands of earrings. And granted, there are people on there that do that. They sit there and they take their pictures, and I don't know how they do it, but they do it and do the, description and everything. But I don't, as a single person running my own business, I simply don't have
Couldn't
time
do
for
that.
that.
Well, if we
Right.
were to focus on the taking images of the charcuterie boards themselves, because I see a ton of pictures in Pinterest, obviously, and
Mhm.
in all the Facebook groups, people post their images. I don't think they're taking pictures with the idea, I'm going to put these online. So they're just showing them off to others in the group or wherever they're at.
Right.
But if you were to take pictures of your boards, like, would you suggest they take over the top of them or at an angle or just take a variety?
I
I
would
mean,
do a variety, always a variety. I
variety.
would never do just one from the top, from the side, zoom in. You can always zoom in later and crop the crap out of it,
Yeah,
so
right. That's
just
true.
get the better. Sometimes let's say I do a particularly good, I don't know, garnish of some sort.
Yeah,
I will zoom in on that,
yeah.
but just to make sure. And then the background would be kind of blurred looking. So
Mhm.
it just depends. You really do have to, with phones, we're all so lucky with this whole smartphone thing because it does everything. If
Hmm.
you want, do little classes or go on YouTube and look up, photography with phones.
Oh,
And
that's a
if
good
you're
idea.
if
Food
you're struggling
photography?
yeah, well, you could do food. So there are food photographers who will put free stuff on there, and then of course they want you to subscribe, and then they want you to buy all these things. But there are just really, really simple, in my case, iPhone photography people out there that are just throwing stuff out there, and it's really interesting. And I get a lot of my ideas and tips from those.
Right.
That to me is, just, again, another aspect of any kind of business is learning how to do something.
Mhm.
And then becomes so much easier after you do it many, many times.
Yeah.
And I understand the issue with people. Okay, you're so focused on getting that charcuterie board out for the first time and or whatever, having a customer and you get it there and then you forget to take a picture. I cannot tell you how many times I've delivered
Yeah.
two people charcuterie boards, whatever it may be, as in my lifetime of catering, and then forgetting to take a picture.
Yeah, darn it. Yeah,
Walking
because
away.
that's like
Oh
you
crap.
see you can do, you just did it, right? And the video too. I mean, if you can
Mhm.
take your video of it too, that would be a great thing because just having, especially if you're setting up big tables and things at events.
Especially, yeah, I
Yeah.
would do the grazing board video. And from that video, you can screenshot. So,
Oh yeah,
it
true.
don't necessarily, if all you have time for is to do a fast video, then do it and then go back and pull the
Yeah.
screenshot.
Right.
May not be the best quality, but it'll still be better than cheating and,
Better than,
AI.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't really want to put AI on there. We built templates
You
that have
can,
some
but I
AI.
wouldn't,
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
can
everybody's
avoid
going
it.
to tell, going to be able to
Yeah.
tell. So now we've got the images. We kind of went off into that, but I thought it was actually a good conversation because I think as I'm recording this course information right now, and I realize that, if you're trying to really sell your business, you've got to have some photos on there. But if you didn't take any yet because this is brand new to you, then how do we get around it? So there's that. So you got to make sure you've got either video or images of some
You
sort.
can,
And so I like the idea of if you had to go to Canva, go to the Shutterfly, there's other places out there to get
lots of
free
stock photos.
stock photos and then zero in on it. And you don't really need to say it's your, I mean, if somebody asks, oh, what's it look like? Then you're going to have to deal with it. Right. And, but it's your first board. So when you're starting to do your first boards, just start taking those photos of them. And what about if they're going to, like, let's say they know they have a Valentine board coming up, or I'm sorry, they want to sell Valentine boards, but they haven't actually created any yet, but they've created boards. So one of the things I was doing was pulling up pictures and then overlaying in Canva some, accoutrements, right, like you like to
Yeah.
say, for the little decorations and things like that. So I don't think that's against the law. There's nothing against the law when it comes to
There's
this, but you
nothing,
don't want
yeah,
to deceive people,
whatever
I
you
think, is the
want.
bigger thing.
Just whatever I would say, whatever you do put on there, you want to make sure that it's something that you can reproduce. Don't
Right.
put something on there, obviously, that you're just like not question, I'm not sure how to make that,
Yeah.
or
Right.
definitely don't do
Yeah.
that because you will always get yourself in trouble
Yeah.
with that.
Well, like I said, I hope that the most of the people that are starting their business or have already started and just want to kind of ramp it up have already got photos of their own that they can take. And
Yeah.
I would just say that even if you don't have anything set up for Christmas yet or New Year's or Super Bowl or these upcoming holidays, whatever they are, that you can always list it out right in the description of what's going to be there. So, I don't think anyone's going to go, wait, we didn't ever take a pic. I don't know what it looks like. And if they
Right.
do and they have a problem with it, then I guess you could actually make the board. And what about, hey, here's an idea. What if they made one board and they had all the decorations for, the upcoming holidays, and they just kind of replace the decorations out on the one board so they can get the images? How about that? I think that wouldn't be a bad idea.
We do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that
I
isn't
mean,
going to
that's a
cost
great
you.
idea,
Yeah.
for those people that are just starting out. And the next thing you know, I mean, let's say you get 4 orders, I mean, that's almost enough to fill your
Yeah.
website with multiple
Take pictures
different
from different angles, different
every
corners of the
angle.
board. Right, right.
Sometimes you're just going to take a picture of the bowl full of jelly. I mean,
Oh, yeah, right.
it doesn't have to be anything complicated. That would
Yeah,
be the thought. Don't
yeah,
don't overthink it.
yeah. Okay,
So,
cool. Well, now then just getting those pictures on. So I think the key to is, and because I'm a website builder, when you're starting to think about creating the size of those images, you can take them and put them into Canva, which Canva, if you don't know what Canva is, people, you need to. It's like the best thing since sliced bread next to ChatGPT, I think now, but that is a free editing software basically to help you create a beautiful product, images, the graphics, logos, you can actually create landing pages and websites in there, but I'm not a fan of that. They don't look that great, but you can do it there. So I would suggest that you just pull any of these images, you can upload them right into Canva in your free account and then create whatever sizes you need. So depending on the software that you're using, they're going to give you size requirements for different pieces that you would add to your website. So we'll talk more about websites. In fact, we'll probably do that in our next, I think we've got that scheduled for our next podcast, but how to really get the templates done. See, because like I said, if you could just walk in and plug this stuff in and we could tell you exactly what size that photo should be and what needs to go here and here and here, wouldn't that be awesome? Well, guess what? That's what we're doing. So we have that. So let's wrap this one up with some last tips on just starting, because I think, I worry about this photograph thing and the description because like you said, this is probably the first thing because you have to start creating your menus. And in order to get those menus online, you got to know what you're going to put on that, right? So we need to talk about, well, let's just wrap this up a little bit by saying, what is the fastest way for us to create a menu? And, how do you think we should go about doing that so that we can at least get that part done so that we could create maybe a sample board off of that? So
are you asking me?
yeah, because
So what
I
I
could come up with it, but I don't think they want to hear about that from me.
No.
Yeah, no, I
That's
know.
why I was like, not sure.
No.
Okay, but no, it's all good. I would say that for anybody new who hasn't already developed their website or their menu or whatever, and they're literally just starting out, obviously the best thing to do in any case, no matter what you're doing, is research. You're going to research your competitors. You're going to read, not even your competitors, because you don't have to look at people that are next door neighbors or in the same town. You can look at people across the nation. Like I've been following personally, when I first started looking at the charcuterie thing, not that I don't know what to do, I do, but I want to know what other people are doing.
Exactly. Right.
So, you can take their ideas or how they're setting it up, because I guarantee they did exactly the same thing, did the research, figured out how they wanted it set up and said, hey, this makes sense to me. Whereas, you may want to do it totally different, but it's always good to have, all these examples in front of you and go, I really like the way that person did it.
Right.
And kind of throw it together in
Yeah.
your own way. That's
Right.
how I would do it.
I
Personally.
think Pinterest is a great place to start. Yeah, you could go over there because there's so many ideas there on Pinterest, and just see what others are doing. Put together like a menu. Of course, ChatGPT, like you mentioned. I will say for those of you who are listening that we have two resources for you if you're at all interested. And we'll put them in the show notes. We have two resources, and one is a charcuterie calculator that our brother, who is he's retired now, but he is like an Excel pro, created this based on our requests and requirements to build up something that could help people figure out what kind of things would you put on the board. Not so much that, but also like if you already knew what you wanted, what it was going to cost you to build this thing, and then what you could charge for it based on whatever amount you want to, 40%, 60% over cost or whatever, when you add in all the costs. So the thing will load up all the info about the costs, and then you can put in how much you want to charge over that, and it will calculate all of that for you. So we're going to put the link in there in the show notes for you, but you also could get access to our brand new ChatGPT prompt that we have available now that will help you actually create the menu, the board, and what should go on it. And all you're doing is going in the prompt and saying, the holiday or the event is this, and there are going to be 100 people, however many people. So when you do that, it will create a full table of everything that is you might want to consider to put on your board as far as the, types of ingredients. You can even tell it the types of ingredients you'd like. So if it's, say it's Super Bowl and you want to focus on hot dogs or hamburgers or something, you can tell it that, and it will create a whole board, and then it will create a whole menu for you, how much you could charge, all that fun stuff. And then it will also create you a sample image of what you might consider how it might look after you're done. Again, it's all AI, so just keep that in mind. But the board creator itself actually is pretty awesome. So I think if you're interested in that, just the links here are going to be in the notes. So definitely tap into that. And, with that said, I think we've kind of covered like those first basics of, all right, our first issues, we got to make sure that we know what we're going to sell. So get your menu together, start getting your photographs figured out, how you're going to do that. And I don't recommend you go out and spend a crap ton of money, right? That doesn't make sense. You don't need to, right? To get all that set up. You really could probably do all of this for free with your phone, like you said, or go find free available photos out there, which Canva's one, Shutterfly, I think they do a free stuff. There's Pixabay, there's a few out there. Even if you paid a little bit for it, it's, it's not hard. And there's just so much available out there to get you what you need so you can get that part set up. And let me say one last thing, or ask you one last thing, and that is, if we were going to start a brand new site, should we have like 20 options for boards, or should we have one board with 3 sizes? What would you think would be the smartest thing if we're brand new at this?
Yeah, don't overwhelm yourself. One board, 3 sizes.
Yeah.
Maybe a few different options for upgrades on the cheeses and meats and
decorations for holidays, maybe. Yeah. For an event, a birthday.
I would not get nutty, because you can always get nutty later when you're more confident about what you're doing.
Right.
And confidence comes with practice, as we all should know. And, so no. Don't get crazy with it, because granted, you want to give them enough to offer, but you got to feel good about what you're offering. And we're going to get into this somewhere down the road about, the different options of cheeses and meats and things like that. But, keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. Also, if you haven't tapped into our free group on Facebook, it's called Start Your Charcuterie Business. So if you go there, please join our group. It's a new group we started, and we're really excited. We're really excited to have starting this business. And just in case, for those of you who don't know, we are trying to help you get your business and your passion online. And that's what we're here to do. And we're going to help you do it. And if you really buckle down when the course is live, because it's coming soon, you're going to be able to get this up and running probably within a week or 2. It depends on how far you are in the process. But I would say one of the next step you're going to want to make sure you start doing is looking into your local laws and regulations on food servicing, if you're going to try to do it from home, or to get a commercial kitchen that you can rent or whatever. But we'll get into all of that as well. We're just trying to get you with the steps to get started and not freak you out. We're just trying to help you make it easier for you by, giving you the steps you need without going out there trying to turn into a boardery company, the boardery company. It's like a lot. So you're not going to be shipping this yet.
Unless you want to, I guess. I don't know. But we can tell you how to do that. But, our goal is just to keep it simple and get you all started within a reasonable time frame.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're already making them already, it shouldn't be that hard. So, all right, friends. Well, thanks, Andrea. I like it. We just wrapped up our second podcast, so that's awesome. Let's plan for our next one, and we will see you here next time. Please share this podcast with anybody you know. We'd love to have them come in here because they might want to pick up and start selling cheese and meat. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.